Suge and Pac and the caravan behind them start making their way to Club 662.
Correct.
At which point, a white Cadillac pulls up and opens fire.
Correct.
Pac gets hit. Suge, I guess, gets grazed.
Correct.
The whole car is riddled with bullets. And it's always, I just want to say this, and I've said this lots of times before. To think that Suge had anything to do with the shooting, I've always thought was ridiculous.
Correct.
And I even spoke to the first responder, Chris Carroll, I believe, who showed up at the scene.
I came up to him. I was yelling at him to open the door. When I came up in the car, I could see that there was bullet holes all in the side of the door. I pulled the door open, and when I pulled it open, the guy sitting in the passenger seat, who turns out later to be Tupac, he kind of slumped out, came out with the door. So he's in the car, he's leaning against the door, and as I open the door, he kind of spills out. So he spilled out, and I just kind of grabbed him with one hand, and then I was pointing the gun at Suge with the other, because Suge is still trying to run up to me, and the guy's clearly a threat.
Exactly.
From a building, the whole car was sprayed up with bullets.
I have a picture of it. Matter of fact, I have it on my phone
if
you need to see it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And Suge gets, I guess, grazed in the head. He's bleeding like, he describes how Suge is like literally squirting blood.
He was also just absolutely gushing blood out of the side of his head, but he's acting fine. I mean, he's not incapacitated in any way. He's shooting blood out of his side of his head, and he starts yelling at Tupac, and he's yelling at him, Pac, Pac, and he just keeps yelling, Pac. And I can see, then I look down, I can see Tupac is trying to yell back to Suge.
Does anyone from the death row side return fire?
Yes.
Okay. Can you say who that was?
Yeah, he's no longer with us. His name was Bountry.
Bountry.
One of Suge's right-hand guy, our good friend, Alton McDonald. He chased the car down. He also received one gunshot to his vehicle. His car was shot. He had a black Toyota Supra. And him and another guy returned shots at that car.
Okay.
And they were the ones that came straight to me at the club and told me what had just happened.
Okay. So I interviewed Greg Kading,
Okay.
who basically made the deal with Keefe D.
Yes.
It's not a deal, it's an agreement. It's known as a proffer agreement. And he's given the opportunity through a agreement between his attorney and the United States attorney to evaluate whether or not it's in his best interest to cooperate. And so that was the arrangement, that he would sit down and tell us everything we wanted to know about anything we asked, and that he had to be entirely truthful, or else he would be charged, not only for the drug crimes, but for potentially his own confession.
And you actually said that Greg Kading's story is a story that you believe.
Correct.
Which I believe as well.
Okay.
So apparently, Baby Lane gets jumped. They go in, him, Keefe, and a couple other guys who are dead at this point, get together, they get their guns, and I guess they go to Club 662 first.
That's what they're saying.
Yes. But you would have no way of knowing this.
The only thing that I have to substantiate what they said is I've been doing interviews on this web channel, YouTube channel on Bomb First, and I interviewed Bountry's brother, Mob James, James McDonald, and he said he saw him outside of the club. Said he didn't think anything of it because, Crips come and be out there. Everybody, every hood, from every neighborhood, Mike Tyson fight. I don't even know how to explain it to people to show that how people just from different neighborhoods just come to a Tyson fight.
It's like a Mayweather fight these days. Everybody shows up.
I would say All-Star Weekend, if you can think back to All-Star Weekend, that was in Vegas.
Right.
It was just crazy, chaotic. He said that he saw him, didn't think anything of it until after the incident happened.
Yeah, so I guess they went to Club 662, saw all the death row guys in front and kind of said, nah, we're outgunned over here.
Or they're not here yet.
They're not here yet, yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
They circled back.
And it could be because the police was out there too.
Yeah.
I remember, I think it was about 15 Las Vegas police
Yeah.
outside working.
And I guess some girls had pulled up and were screaming, "Tupac, Tupac," and that's how
They said that they
Baby Lane and
recognized-
Keefe, you know, said that they knew that Pac was there.
Yeah.
According to
And they
Keefe-
knew our cars.
Yeah,
They wouldn't have known Suge's car because Suge changed cars.
yeah,
You know, he had just got that particular BMW.
Right.
That car probably had 300 miles on it, 400 miles on it.
right.
Yeah.
So according to Keefe, Baby Lane opened fire. Tupac gets hit. Suge gets hit. Bountry, I guess, shot at the car also.
Gave chase.
Gave chase. Bountry's car gets hit,
Correct.
but they don't actually catch them.
Correct.
They get away.
Correct.
Tupac gets taken to the hospital.
Yes.
At what point did you circle back with everybody?
Like I said, Bountry and the other guy came to me and told me what had just happened. There was an attorney out there that was working with us that I was kind of working hand in hand with by the name of George Keefe. He was like big time in Vegas as far as helping us get the club into Suge's name or, you know, turned over to a Suge entity. And he was there. And I didn't believe him when they first told me what was going on, what happened. I thought Suge was mad because I wasn't with him and sent them there to mess with me. Was my first reaction until I saw the Las Vegas police cars pulling off from the club, flying code 3 down that way. And then that's when one of the Vegas police told us what had happened. And so George Keefe and myself jumped in the car and went straight to the hospital because we knew that they had left the scene.
Okay. How was Suge reacting to all this?
I didn't see him until about 2 or 3 hours after that incident happened. He was concerned about Pac. This out of concern. To say that he was upset with me or anything like that, those conversations didn't come until later.
Were people blaming you because you are head of security and this happened under your watch to a certain extent?
Nobody was saying it to my face or saying it to me. We had a conversation the day when Tupac died, which was the 13th, that Friday, where Suge, myself, Frank Alexander, who was mainly on the hot seat, and I think Bountry and Neckbone were there. We was in Suge's backyard, where they started questioning like what happened, what went down, why your guy didn't have a gun, why did your guy come out of the car hollering, he's a Marine, Reggie, not a cop. You know, I'm a retired cop, because there was something where they had them pretty much proned out for a minute. They had Suge and them proned out like suspects, treating them like.
Right, yeah. When Chris Carroll showed up,
Yeah.
he had no idea who any of these people were.
Yeah.
He saw a bunch of black guys, you know.
And so but he had them proned out, telling them to get on the ground.
Yeah.
And Suge was like, hey, you know, my guy's in this
Right.
car.
He described the situation. This
Okay.
big giant guy
Yeah.
who's bleeding is sort of hovering over him.
Yeah.
Now we've still got people running around, people are yelling. I'm trying to watch these other guys a little bit. And now I've got, at this point, Suge Knight is coming up behind me. And, you know, I'm looking at him, and here's this guy is giant, and I'm just like, man, this is a bad situation for me.
He was a little upset about that, where he felt that Frank was saying, hey, showing him his credentials and saying, I'm a cop, and I'm working bodyguard, you know, that they would have been able to get to Pac a little sooner.
Yeah.
Those were the only things that I was questioning. I was directing it to Frank, who was, you know, had no clue.
Right.
Was just lying out, you know, scared
Yeah.
or whatever.